I felt like coming into a new team in a new space where individuals might not have worked together before, but we knew that we had a really big problem to solve, that not only gathering the team from a team building standpoint and working on getting to know each other and working together, but getting some real external inspiration outside of our comfort zone of where we normally pull insights from was something that I really wanted to implement at the start. So, pulling all of that together, being able to create a couple days of experiences that are outside of our industry, outside of where we typically would pull insights and inspiration from was really the goal. And I feel like the team got so much out of it. Being able to start the trip off, the offsite off together, getting outside of our comfort zone of with the improv was a great beginning to kind of let loose and um, have some fun.
Well, we got to know each other a little bit better. We jumped through all kinds of communication hoops, sometimes using words, sometimes not using words. And ultimately, we got to know each other um, on multiple levels. We got to explore each other's sense of humor and everybody's frame of reference when it came to being creative. But we also got to tell stories of meaningful moments and listen actively so that we were able to meet somebody's vulnerability with our own vulnerability. Improv is an egalitarian art form. And so it's especially useful for people who come from many different types of job positions across the hierarchy of your organization to come together and be a service leader for each other.
I thought it was very fun. I was nervous initially, thinking I was going to have to be very funny and like kind of do like a whose line is it anyway, but that was not what it was. It was definitely a lot more cohesive in terms of us like getting to know my coworkers a little bit better and just having a laugh. Honestly, I learned a lot in there in terms of just accepting ideas and just being open to not rejecting and kind of just going with the flow and just figuring out what we can like muster up with our creativity.
Building off of that and going into the trust workshop also really set the foundation for being able to work together and kind of, pull the veils off and understand who we each are as individuals.
Today, we did a workshop on trust in action. It's all about how we build trust within a team as the foundation for a high functioning team. We get into the neuroscience of it, the work of Paul Zak, and how chemicals like oxytocin are produced, and they create a cycle of producing in ourselves and in our teams. And when we do that, we become much more high functioning team.
I think it's a very good practice. I would highly recommend for a lot of team members to go through because it actually shows a couple of things. First, everyone's really like the core value, right? What do they really thinking about? What do they really care about? I think these are the things not necessarily, it's very easy. And I was like, quite often you can comfortably share during the office environment. So this kind of environment feel safe and also feel really like inclusive. People are more comfortable to share about their core value and also what they feel is their vulnerable point, for example.
Working with this team was truly a joy. I've done this workshop a few times. This team, unlike some others, really dove in. I asked them to kind of be very, very vulnerable. And it was amazing with one round how deep some of these folks were willing to share their personal stories. And I think they could feel the power of that. It really connected them on a different level that I am certain they're going to take back to the halls of Intuit and will reap big dividends for them.
We're at Semicolon Books in Chicago. This is a non-traditional bookstore where they focus on experiences more than just the act of selling books. It's easy to think that bookstores are out of hand, right? But what they've turned it into is, like I mentioned, it's more about the experience, right? So you are getting people in, making sure they feel good about books, making sure they create a safe space for people to talk about books, to generate the interest in books. So it's not just getting them to say, okay, come in, buy a book and go. Rather, getting them interested in reading And if you're interested in reading, then you start to buy books.
But at the end of the day, the reason why we matter is because we believe that literacy is freedom and reading is a revolutionary act, especially in minoritized communities. For that reason, we give, every time you buy one book, we give two away. You buy one book, we're going to give two away to students all over the city, to families who come in and they're interested in the books, and they cannot afford them. Our team knows to just hand them over.
For Semicolon, it wasn't just about delivering the books. It was about delivering either the experience or a faster way to get those books or an investment in a minority-owned business. That, to me, felt like the most directly applicable time that we had with a founder to our own business.
We're at 1871. They're like the first incubator in Chicago since 2012. And we started from this small office to now this expansive global program. And we just went through a workshop as well as met with founders and learned a little bit more about 1871 and talked definitely about a lot of innovation. The founder of Order Smart was very impressive. Like she was very open about talking about her business and like her journey. And it was really applicable to like how we might be thinking about our business.
We are at a public tool library where people can rent out tools for short-term projects.
1-year memberships, and they're pay what you can. So sort of part of our mission of providing this equitable access to tools in Chicago is we didn't want to put a firm price on it. We don't want to prevent anybody from repairing their home or completing their projects just besides their income. So we have people pay very little for their 1-year membership, and we have people who can pay a lot more. And that's actually our main source of income as an organization.
There's something there with TurboTax too that we can be inspired about expanding our audience among those people that want the assurances of an expert, but may not be able to pay the normal price that we offer.
So we visited Market 96 in marijuana dispensary in Chicago here, and my biggest learning that I found there was like we asked about loyalty, and they said their customers are not loyal; they're loyal to price. I thought it really resonated with like our business in that any company could make tax prep software, and tax software now is pretty close as far as ease of use. And so a lot of customers are choosing price over ease. And they had the same issue that their customers are willing to go the extra mile to save money versus convenience of just going to a quick store to buy them.
We had 3 professors at from the University of Illinois come sit with us and just have a very informal chat around business model, pricing, different types of pricing, privacy, AI, data, branding, customer behavior, which was really informative. I think one of the things you get in academia that you really don't in business, or just being in the world of business, is academia is really focused, regardless of the field, of really taking a look under the hood of everything, figuring out what parts exist within that hood, and then how do they work together, and then what are the implications of it. And so even, they were 3 very different professors, but they were all thinking in that lens. And I think that's just the muscle we don't do. We don't do it with our own products sometimes, and then we definitely don't do it with other products, whether they're tax related or not.
We are at MHub Chicago, and this is a company that it's focused on helping companies like startups develop their prototypes, their MVPs.
We do a lot of work in medical device, renewable energy technologies, consumer products, agriculture technologies, industrial IoT, wearables, whatever. Any physical product company, they can get incubator resources, business development help.
Basically, somebody will come in, they have no knowledge, they have some knowledge, and I'll first train them on the manual mill. These are all through help sessions, so for half an hour blocks of time that are dedicated to me helping you learn how to use the equipment. Once you've done the manual mill, then we would have you on the CNC machines, and you'll operate the machine on a program.
We get the chance to talk to one of the engineers who built this amazing helmet, that it was like 3D printed.
And those parameters are fed into an AI engine, and it creates helmet shapes. So it creates construction helmets like this, or industrial helmets that open the other way around.
I think that everyone took away so much from the experience, not only from building relationships with teams or partners or others who we typically don't work with or that we even work with on a day-to-day basis, but also being able to come together, form a team, a true team, and say, this is our purpose. This is why we're doing what we're doing.
As a leader, I can bring to the team. It is not only on them, because a lot of a puzzle, a lot of the things that they have confusion is due to the fact that they're not necessarily getting the message and getting to know why. So as leader, how can you facilitating that and bring more transparency and also reason from the top down? That will be a very important also element to build a successful and high performance team.
And so I think that our team really left with such a deeper understanding of each other and also the importance of that trust and connection with each other to the work that we're doing in order to center the customer. Because if we don't trust each other, how are we going to build trust with a customer?
This was the perfect blend of bringing all of those elements together in ways that no one here would have probably curated. And the sum of the parts was greater than the whole in terms of what we got out of it and ultimately delivering against way more than what I was looking for. I feel like it was a huge success and everyone was raving about it. And I really, really hope that other teams do this.